It's
Hi,
nice to
Jimena.
see you again.
Hi.
What you learned about Hollywood in this area by doing this show?
Well, I mean, all of this was new to me. All of the sort of seedy underbelly, the strange fetishes, the off-color gas stations, the full-service gas stations, I guess you call them. So that was all, wonderful and shocking and and exciting to learn about. I think the biggest thing that I got to do in researching was to go back and watch a bunch of movies from the era, from the 40s and 50s. And that's a trip. It's a fun thing to do. I grew up watching those movies, Singing in the Rain and the Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies, the musical era. So to get to dive back into that and relearn just the joy with which, all of the characters engage with the world and the optimism, that was a real fun thing to do.
Yeah, for me, same. The research, the movies, but I also learned that. So now we normally we wear our pants at our waist, but in the 40s, you wear them closer to your neck. It's kind of like mid above your belly button, and that's where your parents should sit. So I'd always on set be checking because I know the costume department was looking at me to make sure that they were at my true 40s waist. So if anything, I learned to know where my 40s waist lies.
And working with Ryan Murphy, I heard that he makes a set that's open and vocal and safe. Talk about that, and also as Darren Criss as a co-star and as an executive producer.
I think for me, especially episode 1, which was directed by Ryan, I got to work with him on that. A lot of my early scenes that we were filming were the intimate scenes, and just as anyone, that can be a little nerve-wracking, but I felt very safe and protected. Netflix does a really good job of having an intimacy coach there, so you're having an open dialogue about what you feel comfortable doing, whether with your scene partner or the people around you. So regarding the intimacy, which we do a lot of that in our show, I felt very safe and protected in that regard. And then also, me and David had this experience that we shared together where there was one moment we were trying to film together, and Ryan was just very specific with what he saw visually and he couldn't see it. So it became a collaborative process because in order to get to the finish line, which was to get the scene filmed, we had to come together. So it was a special moment where he asked us how we felt, what we wanted, what we saw, and we got to just kind of brainstorm a great collaborative way to make this scene land the way that he wanted. But he has always been, from my experience, open to hearing, our opinions, our interests, our fears, and working towards easing that so we feel as comfortable and confident as we need to be to give the best performance that we have.
Yeah, and speaking of collaboration, Darren is a great example of that because he was involved from the very beginning, the inception of the show, and had one of the first conversations with Ryan about this world and where it was going to go. And he really brings that to set as an actor as well as an executive producer. Darren just takes such joy in being around, being on set and the clothes we're wearing, marveling at how good everybody looks and everything. And considering that he has had a lot of experience with Ryan and also has, created his own show for Quibi, which is coming out June 1st. Another thing, a little Darren show is coming out June 1st. He just sets a great tone. He's a great leader and sets a great tone on set for, I think, the Ryan Murphy style, which is like very specific, knows exactly what he wants, but at the same time, a good idea can come from anywhere. And a lot of them did. A lot of them came from a lot of different places, especially working with the crew as well. The crew is always the best at what they do and are very collaborative in working with the DP and the camera operators in getting, the perfect shots and the perfect setups.
And what did you learn from the working with Patti LuPone and the veterans?
You go, D.
I think biggest lesson to learn is how to the value of continuing to take joy in the work, especially for the people who have worked in, the legends who have worked, on Broadway. Patty's done 8 shows a week for months and months, Jim working on his sitcom for a long time. Like there's just a level of comfortability, of ease, but at the same time they still take so much joy in the little moments, in the little bits of banter, and the the silly things that happen when you're playing around with a bunch of great actors. So that level of professionalism and focus, and at the same time, utterly relaxed and able to take joy in the whole thing.
Yeah, I think the same. It's all about the joy, and specifically Patti, Jim, I watched them still honing and working on their craft. When we weren't filming, they'd be off in the corner and we'd be laughing or whatever, but they'd have their note cards. Jim always has everything on his index cards, and he's still working on becoming better and, growing and strengthening himself. So I think that was special to watch, to know that the work you'll always kind of be working, to find the joy in it and celebrate that, but also like continue to work and grow and, stretch yourself.
And Dylan's a great example. Oh, thank you.
Dylan's
a great example of it, because he's worked with Ryan a lot, and and he finds a lot of strange new things every time he comes to set. He loves playing and creating things. So shout out to Dylan.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Janet.